The $1 billion decline of Prime. All right, let's get into it. Let's do this.
Just 6 months ago, Prime was reselling on eBay for over $100,000. But now grocery stores are forced to market at $1 or less in order to sell it.
Logan Paul, he's no stranger to controversy.
There's a new warning for parents and kids about energy drinks. Maybe you've seen Prime Energy on social media.
The drink is getting so much negative attention, schools are actually banning it.
It's just like the most sugary drink that doesn't have sugar in it. And then you look at the sodium level, it's like 1,000 milligrams.
Logan Paul, the influencer turned businessman, is responding to accusations that his energy drink is unsafe for children.
If you've been on YouTube lately, you might have noticed kids freaking out over Prime.
Are you guys targeting children?
When Prime was first launched in January 2022, it was one of the most hyped products of all time. We want Prime! We want Prime! It was estimated to be worth $3.2 billion.
What? $3.2 billion. How are they making $3.2 billion from some sugary drinks without sugar in it, like the guy said? Prime is astounding, okay? It was insane. The come up was insane because you had these two guys, they were beefing, and then they make a drink, totally unexpected, okay? Total cash grab, of course. Now, people were like running through shops, causing like raucous to get these drinks off the shelves. They were paying insane amounts of money for them. But now, I hope we get into it in this video, but now, honestly, I've not seen anyone walking around with Prime, buying Prime, advertising Prime. It's just this complete non-thing that no one cares about anymore. I've not ever seen it.
Fast forward only 2 years, and Prime sales have fallen 50% year over year. So what in the world happened? To find out, we need to rewind all the way back to the original launch day to understand the whole picture. Prime had a great origin story. Logan Paul and KSI, two rivals in the boxing ring, united together to form their own product and company.
This thing felt so fake. Oh my gosh. When you saw them fight, I think by the end of it, I was just like, okay, these guys, do I really care? Like, no. And then they go forward and they build this like brand together, and then they're both like smiling, like fake smiling. Hey, yeah, we totally got you. We scammed you guys. But it did feel fake. Honestly, it did feel fake. It was complete like, wow, these guys went from like absolutely hating each other to business partners with some fake smiles on their faces. I mean, it was not like something I really cared about. And then yeah, look at all these crowds, like this insane crowd of people just standing out trying to get their hands on it. It's like, why? It's just a drink. Like, oh my goodness, get a life, please.
And the hype was insane. Remember, this was pre-Feastables, pre-Joyride, pre-Lunchly. Prime was the first huge YouTuber product that went super mainstream, and viewers could not be more excited to absolutely yeet their money at Logan Paul and KSI. Every week, it seemed like Prime would announce they signed a new athlete, team, or celebrity. I mean, come on, they literally sponsor FC Barcelona. This same guy is now partnering with one of...
They really had to dig out the past on this one. Wow, okay. No one... That Japanese forest is going to haunt Logan for the rest of his life. Like, he cannot get away from that, which, you know, all right, he did something really, really bad. But it is surprising. Like, why would such big brands, I mean, they must be offering, like, extortionate amounts of money to be able to partner with someone with this much controversy behind them. Like, if I was a big brand, I don't know if I want to do that. But then again, also, on the other hand, if they're offering so much money and that you're such a big football brand, do you really care? Like, is anyone going to stop watching football because you got a sports drink? I don't think so. So maybe it's good for them to keep going. Who knows?
One of the most valuable sports teams in the world. Prime was parodied on South Park, and Logan Paul was pulling millions of views on videos that were essentially just ads. And upon launch in the UK, KSI's home country, the hype only got crazier.
We just launched Prime in the UK.
Let's go! The Brits' hysteria was almost as if the king himself launched a product. And there was a period where you literally could not find Prime in a store in the UK.
No, that is so true. This is so true. These scenes actually happened. Like, I was in the UK at the time of the launch of Prime, And this is genuinely like, shops would open up and you'd go in to do your shopping or whatever, and the whole drinks aisle would just have this massive fat gap where all the prime had been looted out by some absolute ravenous youth, okay? It's been like stormed by some starving, thirsty people who just desperately needed a bunch of sodium. I mean, I don't know. I've tried it twice, I think. Some guy in my flat got it from America. He got it shipped over from... This is how much people cared. This is how much people cared. They got it shipped from America in like 2 days with like express shipping just to try it, and it was the most disgusting thing ever. It was so bad. I did not like it. But these are actual scenes. Sorry, getting back to it. These were actual scenes that you're saying.
Mobs of people were hitting the supermarkets in order to score Prime for themselves. Huge difference from now. Prime became so rare that it was selling on eBay for over...
It says sold. It says sold as well. $130,000, and it genuinely sold for that much. Who's paying that much money? Why? Why are you paying so much money? How much how much spare income do you need to have in order to spend like multiple cars worth of money on a drink set? I mean, what? People are absurd. There are genuinely people like who can't make ends meet. And then there are other people on the opposite side of the spectrum who just 130 grand bang out the window for like 3 bottles of Prime. Most useless investment ever. That must have tanked more than any stock, any crypto, anything. It is completely worthless. You got the plastic cost is about all you've got if you bought this packet for 130 grand. Oh, that's got to hurt as well. Imagine being that guy. I don't want to be.
For 100,000 pounds. That is literally more than some yachts. By the end of 2022, Logan Paul and KSI had sold $250 million of Prime in just their first year of existence. Prime was looking posed to pass Gatorade heading into 2023. And that's exactly what happened. In 2023, Prime became the most sold hydration beverage in Walmart, surpassing Gatorade. They continued to sign more and more sports teams and even had a Super Bowl commercial. 2 YouTubers had a Super Bowl commercial. That is wild. Prime...
Well, that is wild. How? 250 grand. 250 grand in your first year of sales or whatever. And then you're scaling up. They must have sold so much more in their second year. And then they're buying Super Bowl ad. They're buying this bat. They're paying literal football teams, like some of the best football teams in the world, to actually just go and sponsor them. Like the money that they came in and then they also spent must be insane. I actually wonder how much Logan Paul and KSI each made from Prime. Like it can't be that much if they're spending this much on ads.
Took over in 2023, and they absolutely shattered their revenue from 2022. They went from $250 million to $1.2 billion in sales in 2020.
1.2 billion. What? That's a stupid amount of money. Stupid amount of money. How people in the UK parting with it for 150,000 or 130,000 or buying it. I mean, I was seeing it in my corner shop. This was years down the line. Okay, popularity was non-existent. It was selling for £25 a bottle, and now they're selling it for like less than £1. People got so like messed up by these prices. I mean, they overpaid so badly. It's insane.
And the biggest launch for Prime in 2023 was Prime Energy, which brought in revenue from a whole new audience. But Prime Energy is also what started the beginning of the end. See, the notable thing about Prime Energy is that each can contains 200 milligrams of caffeine. Ooh. And since Prime's main audience is kids, a lot of people became incredibly concerned about selling energy drinks in tandem with the normal hydration.
No, but I thought most countries have like laws against how old you have to be to buy an energy drink. I thought you had to be like 16 or something. Like it's not like you can just sell it to a 5-year-old. Like you can't have some 5-year-old who's gone to pick up milk for his mum also buy a Prime energy drink and just to have it on the way home. Like I thought there were big laws against this kind of stuff. I'm not sure it's that simple in all fairness. But Also, I don't really drink caffeine. I don't drink coffee or anything. So 200 milligrams, it might be a lot. I don't know. But that seems like a lot. If they're making a point of it, it seems like a lot. Okay, we'll go with the fact that it's a lot. So outrageous amount.
And drink.
Lawmakers and health officials asking the FDA to investigate the energy drink Prime.
Are you guys targeting children?
That's such a heavy claim.
Senator Chuck Schumer is calling on the FDA to investigate the energy drink Prime.
Then, in March of 2023, several schools in Australia banned Prime Energy. In Australia and New Zealand, the legal limit for caffeine is 32 milligrams per 100 milliliters, and Prime contains 56 milligrams per 100 milliliters. And this is where the bad press began to snowball for Prime. In the United States, Prime's largest market, Chuck Schumer called for the FDA to investigate Prime due to its high caffeine content. And as Mr. Beast can tell you, once you start to get a bit of bad press, the doors become...
How have you brought Mr. Beast into this? What has he got to do with any of this kind of stuff? He launched Feastables and Mr. Beast Burger, but like, what else? He's just a competitor, and he's just competitor in like a different part of the internet. It's just, I mean, fair enough. Look, the people get angry at you, and then they post random like hit pieces on you, and they just dunk on you all the time. Like, I get it, but I mean, if the drink is genuinely getting banned in countries because it doesn't meet health standards, then that's something to say. That's like not just making up random like headlines to like dunk on Mr. Beast or KSI or whatever. Sorry, I mean KSI and Logan Paul. Like this, that's real. There's a real fact. So you can't hate too much on people doing that kind of stuff and just announcing the truth, you know?
Wide open. In August of 2023, there was a lawsuit against Prime for having forever chemicals in the beverage. Ultimately, Prime was far under the legal limit, and this was debunked pretty quickly. The problem is that forever chemicals in Prime are now inevitably linked, even despite it not being true. And that leads us to 2024, which is where we begin to see the fall of Prime in earnest. This next statistic should have investors shaking in their boots. In the first quarter of 2024, Prime sales in the UK are half of what they were in the first quarter of 2023, dropping from 26.8 million pounds to 12.8 million pounds.
Damn!
Needless
oh my
to say,
gosh! Oh my goodness! That is a big drop. That's a huge drop, Rooney. Like that, slashing your income by half has got to hurt. That's got to hurt. I mean, look. They're still making billions. They're still making millions. All right, they're still making a ton, like a stupid amount of money from a sodium drink. Okay, but having any company slashing their income by 50%, that's got to hurt. That's got to be people fired, people losing their jobs. Like that's not good. At the end of the day, like people genuinely hurt because of this. Now, having said that, I wouldn't want to be a consumer either because you know it's not like that amazing of a drink. I don't think, but you know. Still, you can't celebrate this too much because there's always people that lose out, is my point.
To see your sales cut in half in just 1 year is a deeply worrying sign. Now, there's three main reasons why I think we're seeing this fall off of Prime, and the first of those is the lawsuits I mentioned earlier. Logan Paul addressed these lawsuits, but they still taint the company's reputation. The next reason beyond the fall off is simply because a product cannot live on hype alone. Upon launch, Prime had unbelievable hype behind it, signing the most famous athletes and teams. It was fresh, new, and groundbreaking. You couldn't go onto the YouTube homepage without seeing it plastered everywhere. There are YouTube shorts about Prime that have garnered 100 million views, but eventually people tire of seeing the same type of content. Only so many people can make Prime tier list before it gets repetitive and no one watches. Initial hype is definitely great for any product, but when the hype eventually dies down, you need a good product left standing. But a lot of people say they don't like Prime.
Oh my God, that's awful.
So if you don't have...
Okay, fair enough. That's quite funny. Now, what he's saying right here is true, okay? You can't survive on hype alone, okay? So we've seen this. I like to think of it more like or a good example of this, I should say, is for example the Haley Welsh of the how do you say her last name? Welsh, whatever. The girl who did the Hawk Tour meme, right? Okay, so her come up was huge. She blew up all over the internet, sold t-shirts, sold merchandise. Everyone knew her name. It was funny for like a day, not even, right? But people kept it going. And then she started a podcast, okay? And the podcast, essentially, the views started up here, and then they sank to the bottom there. And now she's in kind of a weird position where no one knows if she's alive or anything. So anyway, see my last video on that if you want more updates. But my point with the whole story of that is, you can have a blow up, but you need a good actual underlying product or personality or anything to keep those people around, because the hype only lasts for a little bit, only gets people in the door. You need a reason for people to stay. And Prime, I've tried it multiple times, like I said earlier, and it's just not worth it. I mean, you think there's so many other energy drinks you could be drinking. Prime is just not my favorite by a long way. So they're not doing a good job of keeping people in the door, keeping people, from leaving again, kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely, the hype does not save it. The legal things that we were mentioning with the PPVs or whatever, the permanent chemicals or whatever, most people will hear the allegations because the allegations go crazy viral every time. So they'll be like, wow, that's really bad for Prime. And then, to be honest, do people care enough to actually hear the truth or the response? No, they really don't. So then they just don't hear the other side, like the rebuttal. So in their minds is, like this guy says, just forever linked with those chemicals, which is really bad. So what does he think? I'm interested to see, what does he think the third reason is for the downfall of Prime?
Have a good product. What do you have left? Well, the names behind the drink, of course, Logan Paul and KSI, which leads us to the main reason for the decline of Prime. Logan Paul and KSI themselves. When Prime was launched in 2022, the reputations of Logan Paul and KSI were in a pretty good spot. I mean, sure, Logan Paul will always have the Japan forest thing, but after vlogging for a few years and launching Impulsive, people seemed back on Logan's side. In 2022, he launched
That's true. He made a big redemption. He did make a big comeback. Okay? He apologized. He made a big video. He kind of asked questions about it and all that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, he had that crypto zoo thing, which everyone remembers. All right, that was not cool. And then he did this again. And this is not like a scam in the sense that you know what you're buying as a product. You can look up the label in advance, and so you know exactly what you're getting, right? So it's not like a scam where you pay for something and then don't get said product. But at the same time, it's just not the best product. Like, that's just my opinion, and seems to be, looking at sales figures that cut in half, but last year, it seems to be everyone else's opinion as well.
And he signed with the WWE, and he was kind of elevated to beyond social media. And compared to Logan Paul's past, KSI is an utter angel. He's never had any major controversy, and upon Prime launch, the Sidemen were at an all-time high. But over the last 2 years, both creators' reputations have fallen. To begin with, the biggest hit was that of CryptoZoo. CryptoZoo was launched in 2021 during the height of crypto and NFT hype, and was co-founded by none other than Logan Paul.
The thing that I'm most excited for, and this is the first time I've ever said anything about this, for the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project.
Over the first year, Logan Paul used his platform to get people to invest in CryptoZoo, but it went bankrupt, losing investors hundreds of thousands of dollars, a lot of them Logan's own fans. And honestly, it all kind of flew under the radar for a little bit until CoffeeZilla's infamous video exposing it all. That video
this is honestly where I heard about it the first time as well. CoffeeZilla video. It was like an hour or something long, almost 2 hours long. He made multiple of those videos, like hours of content, and I actually watched so much of it as well. Like, I don't normally sit down and just watch hours upon hours and hours of the same kind of thing. So the fact I was into this is kind of saying that it was interesting for sure. Like, I luckily was not in that space. I don't really listen to the Impulsive podcast. Very, very occasionally I'll listen to it, maybe when there's a great guest on, okay? Or something I really like. But more than that, I don't really care. So luckily I kind of escaped. But yeah, I feel really bad for people who got into that one. That was a lot of money lost that day, for sure.
was released at the very end of 2022, and Logan Paul's reputation began to freefall into 2023. A class action lawsuit was filed in February 2023, and the Crypto Zoo scam remains a shadow over Logan Paul today. But the real dislike for both Logan Paul and KSI has really skyrocketed in the last couple months. See, in the past, KSI has been a relatively steady presence. Sure, there were a few things he did that warranted hate, but that all changed with...
Yeah, he had a stinker in a YouTube video and he made a big apology about that one. But the other thing that I know he's going to mention, my prediction here, okay, he's going to mention the Dan TDM controversy thing where Dan was like, wow, I can't believe what we're selling to children, and then he hates back and everyone hates on KSI for that one. Okay, that's my prediction. That's what I'm saying he's going to go, is going to be called on right now.
The launch of Lunchly. With Lunchly being introduced, KSI went down a dark road. Dan TDM has his now infamous tweet against Lunchly, which KSI refused to accept. He tweeted numerous times about Dan TDM and then claimed it was all to promote his new song.
I just do it because I know it pisses people off. Bro, I look on Twitter and I go, oh wow, these people actually care. I'm using it as promo for my song.
Oh my God, bro.
And let's talk about Thick of It. This was one of the most meme songs in existence and inspired nothing but hate from his audience. Sure, KSI reacted to the hate, garnered a lot of views, but it also severely damaged his reputation and made it okay to hate on KSI. I mean, the song has almost 4 million dislikes. Come on. And if we cite...
That's so true. People actually really hated that song. Okay, so I did a whole video on the song, the Dan TDM controversy thing. I'll link it in the end, not in the end card, but like on the little box over here. And I'll start interrupting. But genuinely, KSI's decline, huge. This was huge in part of like people disliking the KSI. Absolutely massive. Like he turned so many people against against him.
Cycle back. The thing that launched all of this hate towards this duo was the introduction of Lunchly, which ironically includes the very product that is now on death's edge, Prime. People hated Lunchly, and having additional connection to Mr. Beast, who at the moment is not the most loved creator, plummeted Logan and KSI's reputations even more. There's now an extreme backlash against these three. Hating on the trio of Mr. Beast, KSI, and Logan Paul has become so accepted due to multiple scams and shady business practices by these creators themselves. The diehard fans are becoming less and less, and the casual supporters are falling off. And ultimately, when all of Prime is built on the backs of Logan Paul and KSI's fans, if the fans cease to exist, so will the company.
Yeah, people just stopped caring. Like, that's the end of the story. I mean, look, that's what it was. They just had so much controversy surrounding them that people just went off them. They didn't want to hype up their product anymore. The product itself, I don't think was very good. People didn't think it was very good. You're looking at the numbers for that reason. And generally, it was built on hype, and then there was nothing to keep the hype going or to turn the hype into like actual returning customers. So although it blew up, although it was a sensation when it launched and everyone loved it and everyone was queuing up and like looting buildings to try and get into it, it's basically, I've never seen it really since. Like, I have not ever seen someone walk around with a Prime bottle in the last maybe year, 2 years possibly. So it's really fallen off hard. It really has. Alright, so thank you for watching. Thank you for watching very much. I hope you really enjoyed that. Okay, and if you did, and you kind of like me, talking to you and explaining stuff and giving my opinions and all that kind of stuff, then you'll love the last video I did, which essentially explains Haley Welsh's the Talk to a Podcast leaked episode. Okay, it was done with FaZe Banks, and it was not meant to be out. Okay, so they go into what went wrong with her crypto thing, and they actually explain it, the origins, how that came to be, what actually went wrong. FaZe Banks gives his insight as like a crypto insider, and it's actually really, really cool. And at the end, there's more controversy tacked on the end of it because FaZe Banks essentially didn't say to release this episode, and they did it without his consent, and then he fired shots at Haley. So there's a whole thing going on there. It's all really kind of fun. So if you enjoyed this, you're going to enjoy that, and I'm going to link it in the end card. It's going to be the big video. Just click on it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, if you did, then I'm sure I'll see you soon. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.